Pascal, thanks so much for coming along. A bit of background on you, mate. Who's Pascal?
Yeah, g'day, I'm Pascal. I'm 25. I'm an Australian Army officer. So for me, in my situation, the reason I've reached out to Jesse is my situation was I was in a period of training where I had a fair bit of money sitting around, just saved up over the years. I wasn't sure the best way to move forward and how to invest that money. So I reached out to a few different people, and Jesse's Prosper in Property was one of them. When I first called Jesse, we ended up chatting for about an hour and a half. And I remember asking him point blank, what's the best way for me to move forward with my money? Should I put it in stocks? Should I get a house? What do you recommend? And he told me, quite frankly, that he doesn't know my situation well enough to actually give that specific advice. I mean, sure, you can say that buying a house is always a good idea, but without knowing my financial situations, what my goals were, he couldn't give that advice in a meaningful way. So after that call, I had another meeting with another investment advisor, and that call lasted about 10 minutes. And in that time, it was simply a matter of, hey, you want to buy a house? Great, I'll get you in touch with a mortgage broker by tomorrow. And I asked the question, I was like, oh, look, what's the best way for me to move forward and invest my money? And they just told me point blank, yep, buying a house is great. It's the best thing. We don't really need to know your personal circumstances. Just buying a house is always a good idea. And for me, it was quite a big shock going from Jesse's model and his approach, where it was very much getting to know me, having a conversation, understanding my goals and my priorities before giving any advice, as opposed to this other investment advisor, which was more so just they know they're going to get a commission if they refer me to a mortgage broker. And I just felt more like a number to them. So shortly after that call, I messaged Jesse again. I said, look, I'm in. I really appreciated the way that he wanted to get to know my situation. He had a detailed plan about how we're going to move forward and wanted to know me personally before he started coming up with any courses of action. So for me, that was what I needed. Someone who actually cared about my situation, cared about me as a person, not just a number. Going through the process with Jesse, we had a tax to wealth method. And with that, it captured all of my personal details, like my finances, what my expenditures were, but also some questions about what is my goal. Buying a house is a great idea, but in terms of location, what is this? This is just a stepping stone in the right direction. It's not my be all and end all. And so by working with Jesse, I was able to figure out that, look, buying a home's great, but where I want to live by the water down in a few years' time when I retire. And working with Jesse, we were able to find a property in Brisbane, which matched my needs in terms of wanting to have a place near the waterfront, but also which fell within my means and my budget. So moving forward, we decided to build the house in Narangba in Queensland, and Jesse was there with me every step of the way, constantly giving me updates with the builders, providing me recommendations for which lawyer to go through, which mortgage broker. And that network that he's built over the years is all very highly professional personnel who were able to help me every step of the way. And I'm still in contact with the mortgage broker now as I'm refinancing. So his team aren't there just to get a commission and move on. They're very much there to support you in the long run, not just the short term. And yeah, I think my favorite part of Jesse's approach to it all is getting to know your situation and providing personalized advice, which helps you achieve your goals in the long run. For the after results, so flash forward 1 year, the property in Narangba is now complete. So the property was costing me $630,000 for the land and the build. And now that it's been built, already the valuations have come in at $750,000. Which ties in what Jesse was telling me when we were going through where to buy. Jesse did a lot of detailed research into finding out which areas were up and coming, which area is going to have the greatest growth, and where is an area that has a low rental vacancy. And within a week, I had a tenant in my property and the growth is already evident. So Jesse's research has definitely paid off. And you can tell the research he puts in is meaningful and does definitely help. So I guess just for me, I was a bit cautious reaching out to a financial advisor online, an investment advisor, but Jesse's reassured me every step of the way. And at no point did I feel uncomfortable or pressured into anything that I didn't want to proceed with. And I felt informed at all times. Although there were certain risks associated with buying a property, given all the research that Jesse was doing on my behalf, I felt risk aware, knowing that even if interest rates were to take a hike, I would still be able to make my repayment without too much of a risk. And that was something that made me feel very comfortable throughout the entire process. In terms of what's next for me, now that I have 2 properties, my intention is more just to focus on paying off principal and interest rates while allowing that Queensland property to grow in value. as it continues to appreciate with things like the Olympic Games coming up, I can expect the property there to continue to grow. But one thing's for sure is if I do feel more comfortable in my financial situation and I've got a bit more money and I feel ready to take that next step and getting another property, I'll definitely be reaching out to Jesse again, because I know that he has my best interest at heart and he truly will take the time to get to know what I want, what my goals are, and then find a way that we can move forward together to achieve that.